Good evening. This is our second video. I'm so excited to be here today. But let me start first by saying that I am not authority on these matters, addiction and recovery. I am no authority on these matters. So please do not hold me accountable for whatever I say. I'm simply trying to share my strength and my hope and my little experience. So my subject for today is the disease of addiction. So as a disease, something being wrong, this disease is divided into three, it's physical, it's mental, and it's spiritual. Long ago, the doctors and the psychiatrists and psychologists struggled, for a while till, it was decided that, it would be, included in the DSM form, where in the beginning, the addicts and the alcoholic would be tortured, and many experiments has been done on people put in asylum, people's brains being drilled, and somehow, it was not recognized medically, as a disease. But fortunately now it is recognized as a disease, and all the governments in the world are aware of it, and that now everybody can, try to intervene in this regard. Addicts are not only considered as people that could not be medically taken care of, So yeah, right now it is a very exciting time, even in our country, because, it has been a taboo, a person would be addicted and people would consider him mad, but uyahlanya, and we would go through so many things, sangomas, and we would go through traditional medicine, and people have tried so many other things, religion and so many other things, but I'm not saying any of it is actually wrong to try to solve the problem, but somehow, yes, it was discovered that it's a disease that is threefold, as I mentioned. It's a physical, mental, and spiritual disease. As a disease now, we people started to give it more attention, unlike before. So as an addict myself, I did not understand what was happening with me. At first I started by experimenting, and the first high was obviously exciting, and I wanted to, follow up, and, I wanted that same old feeling, the first feeling, and I could not even reach the first high, if I may call it, and then, I went again and again and again, and up until, I became insatiable. I added more and more. This is why some people call it a disease of more. It's about adding. So this disease is some people say is cunning and is baffling. Physically, I have become allergic, meaning that if I take one, I cannot stop. I want to take more and more. I cannot function. I cannot wake up in the morning and start my day without using. I cannot do certain tasks of my day because I haven't used. Many a times I think I cannot function. So this is why the body kind of demands it. I feel like I cannot function without it at all. That's why it becomes, a physical thing, and then The mental aspect of it, I'd like to leave that to the psychiatrist and the psychologist. They can give, more account into, what happens around the endorphins and the receptors in the brain. It's more of a, clinical, that, knowledge that, I don't want to dwell, more upon. Maybe I should, just simply stick to, my experience. So the spiritual aspect of it, when I picked up the drugs, when I picked up alcohol, it took away certain emotions. It took away certain feelings. I started forgetting certain things that has happened to me. Might have been traumas, things that I was told growing up, being told that you're stupid, being told that you are not good enough, being told that you are slow and all of that. But, with the use of drugs, one somehow assumes a different confidence. One becomes a part of a certain group when one, felt left out, by their peers, and they wanted to fit in. So spiritually one was not in that good place. So one needed a certain strength from somewhere else that, would give off, this self-confidence, the self-esteem, But spiritually, as a disease, it means that there is something that is lacking, from within the spirit. Yes, many of us grew up in religious or traditional families, but, none of it, has satisfied, a certain eagerness to find, a power, a certain power within us, that will give us confidence and feel good about ourselves spiritually. Sometimes I say, when we started using drugs, somehow we might have found a God. Other people might differ, but immediately when I started using, I felt like I'm Superman. I am invincible. I am bigger than I am. I'm stronger. My senses are somehow augmented, but in reality, my senses were completely diminished. I thought I could do anything, give me the courage to do and to say things that maybe, I could not say in my sober state, So the spiritual aspect of it even goes deeper to, a place where when I'm completely dependent, on this substance, I do not care who I hurt. I do not care how I hurt myself. All my spiritual values, my principles simply goes out of the window. I start lying, I start cheating, I do anything. People die along the way. It doesn't really matter because there is a void, that I need to fill, up, and trying to fill up that void. I can do anything for my drugs. All of us have got principles. I guess everyone grew up, being taught to respect others, being able to ask when they need, but we start stealing, we start lying, we start cheating, and somehow, even if when we know how wrong that was, but we still continue doing it. Even if when we knew that there would be consequences, some people say it's a spiritual malady, So imagine I am using and I know that there might be a serious consequence. I might end up hating people, I might end up hating myself, but I continue doing it, So this is where it becomes a true, disease that needs something like this very same 12-step program when we try to deal with what really happens, finding forgiveness, for what has happened to us, finding acceptance to, certain circumstances, finding forgiveness for those who hurt us, and those, that we had, seeking for, their forgiveness, accepting, finding an inner peace, not trying to numb the pain, not trying to numb all these emotions that one is feeling, So the reason many a times I find myself using is that, I relied on that confidence that I found from the substance. I relied on this feeling that, I'm now able to do certain things, because of my addiction, because of my drug of choice, or I should also still say my drug of no choice, So obviously through the step work, I somehow first realized, through my step one, that I have become completely powerless. I cannot stop even if when I want to. So this is the biggest part of my disease. I cannot stop even if when I want. So through step one, through the help of the sponsor, I begin to look deep within myself, and I started working on the true realization, me accepting, that I have this, problem, this disease, and understanding that it's a disease. I realized that I'm not the only one who's actually suffering from this. So I started taking my steps, and I realized my powerlessness. Even if when I don't want to use, but I find myself still going, end up in jail, end up in hospital, people getting hurt, and my life became unmanageable, having lost all the appetite for success. Even when the mind is still saying, you can do it, but somehow, I lost track of, my aspirations, my goals, and in that madness, I'm not the only one that is actually losing it. It's my family, it's my community, it's my teachers, it's all the people that have hope, for me, people who tried to give me everything that, could help me become, a whole person, So my life just becomes a mess, and the more I find myself doing, this, and the more I isolate myself, the more I feel I don't care about life anymore. I don't care about dreams and aspirations. It's all in my mind that, what, it doesn't matter, and then I stop caring even for others. This is when now other people get, hurt. I don't care how I lie, how I steal, cheat and manipulate, just to get what I want, just to get a high. And every time I use, even that pain that I was trying to numb doesn't go away at all. It still remains, because when I wake up from that numbness, the problem is still there, So I think I'm gonna have to stop right there, because I'm going on and on and on. But my experience on this subject, I think the more we go on, I'll even maybe be more, eloquent and more direct. But yeah, I think we are learning together. Thank you for allowing me to do this video today. Thank you. Lovely evening. Cheers. Good night.